The world depends on agriculture, but farming isn't just hard work. It's innovation, strategy, business. This is the Wylie AgCast, where we dive into everything that drives modern agriculture. From the latest advancements in ag tech to the business strategy shaping the industry, we cover tools, trends, and challenges that matter to you. Sit back, relax, and tune in.
Welcome to the podcast. Today I'm here with President and Chief Operations Officer, Mr. Jason Fisher.
It's Mr. President to you.
Oh, my apologies.
No, I'm kidding.
Well, hey, thank you for taking the time with me today and just coming on board and getting involved with this thing. It's been a lot of fun so far.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for doing it. I think it's I really think it's a cool thing that you're doing. I think it's a out of the box thing that like you said, maybe Cody had thought about it before, but I think it's good that you're implementing it, and I think our employees will enjoy it, and customers maybe if it gets out there.
I hope so.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, well, Jason, I'd love to hear a little bit about your background. What would you say was the biggest factor in your growth from when you first joined Wylie to now kind of leading it as president?
Yeah, I joined Wylie in 2008, actually, as an accountant.
Okay.
Yeah, I graduated from Texas Tech with my accounting degree, and the thought was that I would replace the CFO at some point. And so I came on that track and started for about 6 months in Petersburg, and then the plan was to come and learn and manage the debits and credits, and that's something that I enjoyed and still enjoy. Really, I don't do it a lot anymore, but anyway, the plan kind of changed in 2009. Scott Wylie told me that we were looking into Case dealerships,
Yes.
tractor dealerships, and he wanted me to be a part of that, and so that was very neat. And so, sure enough, in 2010, we bought 4 locations that year, and so from that point, it was I actually did the accounting. Actually, Mickey Prado and I were the only two in the accounting department for the implement side for a long, long time.
Well, there you go.
But the biggest factor, I think, was just I don't know, hard work. I mean, honestly, it was hard. It was. I've always tried to make sure that that I'm listening for what needs there are, and never hesitating to try to find a solution for those needs. And then past that, it was just taking the time. I mean, when we first bought those dealerships, 12, 14-hour day wasn't anything. It was a long time that we had to spend, and but it was good. It was rewarding. So I think, the biggest factor truly was just paying attention to what was going on. And then, of course, after a while, I became president in 2019, and really, that was a little bit of a gift from Scott, I think.
Yes, sir.
that may have been the plan. I didn't know that it was coming in 2019. So obviously, that was a blessing, and truly, I've been blessed to be here, to work here. 17 years this month, actually.
Wow.
So
Okay.
It's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, awesome. So what would you say is the most rewarding part of leading a company that is all about growth?
I would say that, well, actually, we're about death as well. We want to kill some weeds around here.
True.
For sure.
True.
But I think the most rewarding thing, and you'll probably hear me say this quite a bit, but is our people. I mean, just leading our people is really great. The industry is fun, and it's good too. It's not always fun, I guess, but it is interesting. It's really complex, and there's a lot of things to it, but I really just enjoy people. That's kind of my thing more than anything. I'm kind of a different accountant as far as that goes. Most accountants like to sit in a cubicle and fiddle with the numbers, but I really enjoy people. So, I would say that's the most rewarding thing. It's just getting to know our employees and know our customers. And
That's fantastic. And I'm sure everybody appreciates it too, being a people person, because there's been some presidents I know of that they don't really care much about the people. They just care about the money, and
Sure. Well, I mean, that hasn't been true here for I think forever.
Yeah.
I never knew Scott's dad, Lloyd, but I think he and Scott have created a company and built this company based on caring for the families that they have employed, and so definitely very blessed to have those guys at the
Absolutely.
leading the way there for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, they laid the foundation for you to build on, and
There's no
and
doubt.
It's
There's no doubt.
a good foundation.
It is for sure.
So, talking a little bit more about farmers specifically, from your perspective, what's one of the biggest hurdles in agriculture right now?
Oh, there are several. Depending on what farmer that you ask, the farm bill is a big deal that they haven't really revised or done a new farm bill in a while, and that's certainly a big issue. The weather is always an issue in farming. It's funny
Yes.
because someone. Well, we always need rain, but someone will say, "Hey, I don't need it to rain," or "I do now," or
Right.
whatever. So that's always an issue. But like in the Rio Grande Valley, where we have 2 locations down there, it's the biggest drought we've ever faced as far as in my lifetime anyway.
Yeah.
It's a major issue down there. So I think it just depends on who you talk to and where they're at. But low commodity prices versus high equipment prices is an issue. That's something that we've got to overcome and that our customers have to overcome. So there's a lot of things that
Absolutely.
are happening these days.
And as a company, what are we doing to kind of address some of those issues?
A lot of that is really outside our realm of control, to be honest with you. That there's not much directly that we can do about a drought or about commodity prices or all of those things. So one thing that several in our company will hear me say is, hey, there's a lot of things that we can't control, so we just need to control the things that we do have control over,
Right.
or do those things as excellent as we can. And so really that's my answer to that is
Yeah.
that we have to, those things that we do have a hand on that we can control. We've just got to make sure that we've got the right processes and people and those types of things in place so that we can help that farmer any way that we can.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, that makes perfect sense because
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can control the weather just yet.
Sure. I mean, there are things that we can do. I don't mean this cliche. I really do tell customers that I get an opportunity to talk to is that we want to be partners with them. So if we make sure that we've got parts when they need them, if we can make sure that our equipment is built, the equipment that we manufacture, if it's built with the highest, standard of quality in a timely fashion, if a tractor comes to our shop, if we're selling a tractor or an implement or whatever it is, we need to do those things with excellence. We need to make sure that, like I said, that those things that we control, that we do it well, because that's the way that we can partner the best with our customers. And there's a lot of things there's a lot of things and issues that farmers face every day, and dealing with their dealer doesn't need to be one.
I agree. 100%.
So that's the thought there.
Awesome. And now you're a people person, as you mentioned earlier, and I know that in the company, every role, every position really matters, and every little position or job, they all fuel what it is that we build here. And but I would like to know, as we all work together to grow and build Wylie, if you could just brag on one group, what would it be? And
You
why
want me
would
to
it
say
be?
marketing?
I mean, if you want to just throw that name
Yeah.
out
Okay. All right.
there,
Yeah. Other than marketing, listen. I again, I don't mean this cliche, but everybody in our company, every department, every individual, if they're not doing their job, then we fail. Right. I mean, it really is a pass fail type thing. But I will say something that I say a lot is being a service manager is the hardest job in our dealerships.
I'd have to agree.
If you're a service manager, 95% of the calls that you're getting are, because something is broke.
Right.
And they're hacked off and they want it fixed and they want it fixed yesterday, right? And so the communication that it takes with that customer, with your tech, with the schedule and all those things, it can be a very, very, it is a very daunting thing. So that's what I'll say. Again, it's everybody, but one other group, if you will, the guys in Petersburg, guys and gals in Petersburg. It's an amazing operation when you get a chance to see what those 80 to 100 people can do. It is an amazing thing. So the things that those guys do in Petersburg is really amazing. I mean, when you see the millions of dollars that are being ordered, and the fact, like I said, that it's 80 to 100 people out there that are putting that stuff, from raw steel to assembled product onto the truck. It really is amazing what those guys and gals do out there.
Every time I'm down there, man, they're grinding and they're just,
for sure.
They get after it, they get work done, and
it is a grind for sure.
It seems like they enjoy it. So
yeah.
That's the most important part, is as long as you're enjoying what you do, then. Yeah,
I think so. Hopefully, again, I hate to keep saying I tell people, but I guess we all have little sayings or things that we want to focus on. But,
yes,
if you're an employee of any company, including Wylie, you're working 40 hours plus a week.
Yes.
I would hope that you would enjoy it.
Absolutely.
If not, we need to figure that out,
Yeah.
For sure. It's just, it's too important when you're away from your family for that long every week. You definitely want to be doing something you enjoy.
So absolutely. And to put it in a little bit of more of a perspective, we technically spend more time at work than we do at home.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
90% of the time at home is sleeping. So,
yep, for sure.
Now, what's something you've picked up working with the guys that's kind of shaped how you specifically lead?
Oh, I think that, first of all, that just everybody is such a hard worker. Most people are. I mean, there's some that, maybe need to step it up a little bit, but, we really do. My job is easy most of the time because of the people that we have working for us. I know it's goofy, but we have this saying around here where we're trying to hire Wylie guys and Wylie gals, right? If you're a recent convert, Wylie convert, and if you didn't hear Wylie guy in the interview, then we didn't do our job, right?
Right.
Because we really want a Wylie guy or a Wylie gal is someone who cares about their job. They care about the people around them. They care about the customer, and they're doing everything that they can do to, again, make sure that they're a good employee. It's in our mission statement to be a good corporate citizen, to be a good employee, and to take care of our customers. So, and our people are great at that. And so I'm definitely blessed. My job as far as a people, the people that we have working for us, they just make it great.
Well, it's easier when they make it easier.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, they're super talented. Everybody, we know this, but everybody's different. Everybody has different talents. And it's just amazing to sit back sometimes and just go, man, it happened to me yesterday. Someone showed me something that they had worked on, and I was just like, man, I had no clue that they could do that, So pretty neat.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. And that, I'm a firm believer that, the Lord gives you gifts and abilities that you use, and those gifts and abilities are never for you.
100%.
They're for everybody else.
That's right. That's exactly right. I totally agree with that as well. Yeah.
Now, taking a step back from the position or the company in general, let's shift a little more to just agriculture as an industry.
Okay.
What's one big shift that you're seeing that you don't think we're talking about enough?
I don't know if we're not talking about it, because I think everybody is talking about it, but the world of ag has become so technologically driven. Barely got that out.
It's a hard word.
Yeah. Everybody talks about it. It's in our faces every day. But to be honest with you, AI, again, that's something that everybody talks about.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be something that continues to really drive us in places that we didn't even know could exist.
Yeah.
Products. Some of the software that we use just for services have AI features in them today just to make it easier to look something up. You know, obviously they're using AI in agriculture to identify weeds and plants that they're trying to spray. You know, and if they're not, that's where it's going. So I think, so it's one of those things that I think we talk about, but we really don't even have a clue
Yeah.
what it means
Exactly.
in a lot of the cases. I think that's where we're at. So I definitely think that it's changing even now. We don't even really know it.
Yeah. I mean, I use it.
Kind of scary. Kind
I use
of
it,
not though. Yeah.
You know, and I thought about that a little bit too, because I use it personally, just for
Yeah, for sure.
instead of Google. You know, it's so much faster to just it'll pop right what you need
Yeah, it's
right
amazing.
when you need it,
And the fact, you know, like if you're using a chat GPT or something
Yes,
like
sir.
that, the fact that you can ask a question and then ask another question based on the question that you just asked.
Yes.
And I mean, again, I'm only 48 years old, but it makes me feel pretty stinking old.
Really?
Oh yeah, shoot. I mean, Ethan, when I was growing up, we didn't have cell phones, you know,
Well, yeah. I mean,
and
if
so
you talk about it like that.
yeah, I mean, yeah. So that made me sound really, really old.
Yeah.
But you know, so just using that stuff, it's mind blowing. You know,
Yeah.
it really is.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's starting to get put in our services, our software, our products. It's really going to infiltrate everything that we
yeah.
do.
And it already has.
Yeah, for sure.
Somebody put it in a interesting light for me. They said that it's kind of like AI is in like a little bit of a space race right now. So it's
yeah.
like one company's trying to do this better than the other company,
Yeah,
and then
for sure.
whoever ends up on top at the end, they're going to have dominant control.
Yeah, that's right. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows? I mean, that's way above my pay grade,
Right.
but it does seem like that. And like I said, when it's hard to even really understand what some of that means,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to follow.
Yeah.
You know, but that's me speaking though. Maybe
Right.
others follow it just fine.
Possible.
Yeah,
Possible.
yeah.
It's definitely an interesting deal.
For sure.
Shifting to the farmer as a person, though, in the industry of AI, how can they prepare for kind of the wave of AI coming?
Well, our farmers have had to deal with technology. Period. For some, they use it and wish they didn't have to. For some, they use it and they're glad that it's there. And then obviously, there's a little bit of both on every spectrum. You know, from an equipment standpoint, that technology, you know, is driven by sensors, and you know, and it doesn't matter what color tractor you're driving. You know, if there's an issue, it usually starts with a sensor somewhere. You know, so
Generally, yeah.
yeah. So you know, it's just it's being you know, I think it's a great thing, but it is being forced down, you know, the industry's throats.
Yes.
And again, I think it's mostly good, but I think what in West Texas especially, I've always said this to our case, you know, mothership, and when they're coming out with something, you know, maybe a planter that has AFS technology on it, which all do now, but in West Texas, our farmers are mostly late adopters to those technologies, and I think we're coming around a little bit, but I think what a farmer can do is try to embrace it.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah.
If we're doing our jobs, then what we're doing is explaining why those things are helpful.
Exactly.
And how they can get more out of the same amount of work, you know,
Sure.
or even less work at times. And so, you know, I think a farmer just needs to just embrace it a little
Absolutely.
bit. But again, we've got to be doing our jobs. We've got to explain the why, the why,
Right.
as to what it can do for them. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the misconception is that, you know, AI is going to take over the world and eliminate human beings. And
Right.
we'll have another AI robot on our hands.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But,
And I think we'll come close, but maybe.
yeah, well, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
We'll see.
yeah.
But no, but I mean, the big fear factor of it kind of went away when it was explained to me that AI right now is generally a glorified search engine.
Yeah.
And that it can search faster than we can, and it can build on what we search. And that's the main key of what it does right now.
Yeah, for sure.
It isn't sentient yet.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, even my daughter's a computer programmer,
Yeah.
and a lot of what she's doing will pass away a little bit, right? But it will still, she's explained it to me a little bit, but there will still need to be human prompts
Yes.
and human prompting into the AI machines,
Exactly.
right? And so I think that there will always be a need for humans. So even with AI, so I think we ought to just try to embrace it.
I would have to agree. And
yeah, for sure.
Even from a marketing perspective, the world's going digital, been going
Oh
digital.
yeah, for sure.
And if you get left behind, then you're gonna suffer for it.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's true.
So how do you balance the practical realities of running a company with the overall bigger mission of just supporting agriculture as a whole?
I think I think what I do, what I attempt to do is being a little bit repetitive, is to understand those things that we can control.
Yes.
And not control. So, that the practical realities, either, they smack you in the face sometimes on a daily basis, or they're going to come to you either way, right? So, again, what can Wylie do? What can we make sure? What can I make sure that I'm leading in the business of processes and people, again, just to make sure that we are trying to handle what we can handle in the best fashion, the best way, with excellence. And if we will do that, then we will take care of those needs. Again, there are so many things out of our control. There are so many things that outside of our dealerships and our spray centers that we just can't. We need to be aware of. We need to understand where it's going. We need to understand. Well, quite frankly, if we don't understand the needs of our customers, then we'll wither away.
Well, sure.
And so we've got to understand it, but also just understanding what our role is and doing it the best that we can.
So finding your place in the world of agriculture.
Yeah,
as a
for
whole.
sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
And
We do hold a big place. I know that the market share for red equipment in West Texas is growing, but it's not as big as our competitors. And that's okay. Well, it's not okay. I mean, we need to get better and do better. But it's okay in light of the fact that, again, we don't want to get out of our lane. So we need to make sure that we're taking care of our customers, partnering with them. And if we do that, then the business will grow. And on the other side of that, our customers will be taken care of, and they'll have a partner in the business.
Absolutely, I 100% agree.
Yeah, yeah.
So now on the business side of agriculture, so as a farmer, thinking of a farmer less as a farmer and more as a businessman, is there anything in that field that you just find interesting? All
of it. Honestly, I live in shallow water, so I live in a farming community. One of the neighbors that I had for many years, I love them and miss them, miss their family. But he really taught me that the business of farming is extremely complex. And if you're out there right now, and whether or not you work for Wylie or not, and you think a farmer jumps in his tractor and he sets the plow or sets the planter or whatever it is, and he just rolls down the fields, and that's what he's doing, you're just sadly mistaken. There's so much complexity to it. There's even before you get to the field, to put that seed in the ground, and then before the farmer literally has no control of whether or not that seed is going to grow, right?
Exactly.
Which by the way, that's a position that I'm glad that I'm not in.
Right.
I've learned that being in the business, you talk about the need for faith. There's a need for faith in everything, but a farmer's got to have it. But anyway, the spreadsheets and the figuring out pricing and inputs and all that, it's monumental. It's big. And you can do all the things, you can be as good at it as you can. You can spend all the money, and still the weather doesn't cooperate, so you don't have a crop. So
Exactly.
brutal. It's
Now that's
brutal.
interesting to me because so much of the environment plays a part into actual farming, and I think that's probably the biggest and most challenging part of trying to get people involved with agriculture is helping them realize that even though a farmer wants to make, things work and have success, we're in the biggest drought I think even I've seen my whole life, and man, you can't, if there's no rain, there's no growth.
Yeah. Well, and the hard thing is too, and we could talk all day about this, but and a farmer knows much better than I do. But what's good for the farmer is good for us. What's negative on the farmer is negative for us. So even a good rain at the wrong time can mess you up, or or set you back. And so it's just it's a great rewarding industry, but it's tough for sure.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Now, for somebody who's tuning in and is interested in getting involved with the ag industry in any element, what's some advice on how it really works that you would give?
A little bit about what we're saying. It is very rewarding. If we at Wylie for a second would step back and think about what we do and how it impacts our customers who are feeding and clothing the world, then we would understand just how much of a big deal that is, and how grateful we should be to be a part of that. And so that is the one thing. It really is rewarding. It also is tough. I mean, there are certainly times, again, especially when you have no control over things, there's times where I'm in my office going, man, how are we going to make this work? Yeah. Right? Because again, what's good for the farmer is good for us. What's bad for the farmer is bad for us. So, there's times that you just, there's great times. And that's another thing. The highs are really high usually, but the lows are pretty low as well. And so I just think I would recommend that someone just be grounded and just understand that there is so much here that we can't control, but that when good stuff happens, it's incredibly rewarding, and it gets you through that next year. So
how would you get through those moments of low?
Oh, I think, well, personally, for me, my faith helps me get through those times, right? Also, you just have to, again, you have to understand that in this industry, there are going to be lows. So, I think I said this to Scott Wylie not too long ago. We were talking about something, and what are we going to do? Well, we're going to brace for impact a little bit, and so you've got to do that. There's got to be times where you do that. You have to understand that it's going to turn, and that helps you get through. You might have to. I use the word suffer. I mean, but golly, there's much worse suffering going on than what's going on in my office. But you do just kind of just have to take it a little bit. Yeah. And just know that it's going to come through on the other side,
Absolutely.
So again, it's the rewards. They are good. And when we sell a tractor, when we sell a nurse trailer, whatever it is, and we know that we're in a bit of a hard time, or that you got to celebrate those things too, right? Yeah. And it's something that I need to do better. I need to celebrate better. The accountant in me looks at that spreadsheet and wants to live or die by it, but you've got to get beyond that. And when you do sell a tractor, when the backlog at our plant is up, you've got to celebrate that and go, hey, this is good. And is it where we want it to be? We would love for it to be bigger, higher, whatever. But more sales, but again, it's celebrating what you got.
Absolutely. Well, and I think in the celebration, you can take those times and look backward and say, even though this part was not fun,
yeah,
it all builds you to
Yeah.
eventually getting to those points.
Yeah. You can't forget the no fun times, because you learn and grow from those things.
Absolutely.
But they're no fun. That's a true statement. There's just sometimes where it's tough, but again, as tough as it is for me, and it's not always tough, right? So I'm not crying the blues here. I'm also not the farmer that's sticking a seed in the ground and praying and wishing and hoping that the weather works, that it'll come up. So I've got it easy, compared to those guys for sure.
Well, I would have to agree a little bit because I see the hardships that they face, and there's a show I like to watch that's called Clarkson's Farm.
Okay, I haven't seen it.
Oh man,
Clarkson's Farm.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a British guy.
Okay.
And I think he was on Top Gear.
Okay.
And he bought a farm, and he knows nothing about farming, and he's trying to run this farm.
Very interesting.
And it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But man, it's so educational because it actually shows how really truly difficult it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
How really
just how out of control.
Exactly.
You have no control. Yeah. Even when you think you do, you really.
But hey, if you go along the lines of faith, you do in a way have control, because if you have faith that things are going to work out.
Oh, sure.
Even if they don't.
Sure. Yeah.
Something to get you through.
Absolutely.
Well, for the end of our podcast together, I'd like to just open the door if you've got anything you want to just share. And
I appreciate you having me on. I really do feel blessed to be in the position that I'm in. I feel blessed to, and I mean that with all sincerity. To be the leader of this group. Our people they're really great, and like I said, they really do make my job a lot easier. Even when I'm pulling what little hair I have out at times, but it's a great company to work for. There's a legacy here that I care about, and that I know a lot of us do. But I mentioned Leading Wylie and Scott Wylie, and Scott's still in the business, but one day he's going to decide to not be on a daily basis, and we've got a lot of guys that the Mickey O'Neills, the Wylie OGs is what I call them. Those guys that have been around for. It's such a cool deal. We have people that have worked here for 25, 30, 35 years, and they have made a mark on the industry, and I really sincerely care about extending that legacy, and so I'm thankful to be able to do it with the group with you guys, especially you young guys that are coming up in the business. I see a lot of good things ahead. I see a lot of great things for Wylie. It's such a great place to work at, and great people to work along with. So, I just hope and pray literally that we continue to make a mark on the industry, that we continue to be partners, and who knows what it looks like 5 years from now. I know as the president of the company, strategy is supposed to be, kind of at the top. I don't know. I don't know what it looks like, but what I do know is that if we get 5 years from today and it looks like today, well, then I haven't done my job very well. Right. And so I'm excited about it, about what it will look like, and about the mark that we'll all be able to make on the industry and in the company. So it's a great thing. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, we'll wrap it up there. And Jason, thank you for coming in here and chatting with me, and talking a little bit about agriculture and some of the nitty-gritty details behind it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Ethan.